Welcome. My name is Carolyn and I am a ghost healer. For the past 30 years I've been helping dead people, the ones caught in the space between this world and the next. I've documented many of the hauntings and I've often made drawings of the souls who I've helped. I'm now ready to share these stories with you. We all have a story, and these stories belong to the lost souls who I've helped on their way. Today I'd like to tell you a story about a haunting in a modern terraced house that was built on the site of an old workhouse that later became a TB isolation hospital and then became a psychiatric hospital, finally closing its doors in the 1990s. So Julie called me out because she was having really scary things happen in the house. Like she would come downstairs in the morning and all the drawers and all the cupboards would be wide open, and they'd wake up in the night with people having run up and down the stairs that weren't her teenage children. So she was keen to have me visit, and we exchanged niceties, had a cup of tea, but the whole time, as soon as she answers the door, I can see the ghost of this guy at the bottom of the stairs, and he's there. I'm talking to Julie, having the cup of tea, nice weather and all that, and he's sort of there as if he's waiting to get a word in. When you're going to finish, I've got something to say. And so I say to Julie, okay, I'm going to start now. And that is it. He is off, and he is so angry. He's livid. His arms are rising up in the air. He's banging his hands on his legs. And he said, no one listened to me. No one, the injustice that went on. And I had a father. I know what is right and wrong. And this was wrong. So this spiraled round and round. And I just allowed that rant to continue. I was listening to what he was saying. And I began to have pictures of his life. And I was shown a sort of workhouse type scenario, and there was a small group of young people who seemed unwell. They seemed sick, and it was cold, it was damp, and they weren't well. But I also got a sort of sweeping fever type feeling, where you're sort of a bit nauseous and you've got a temperature. So I had that about them as well. And as this guy's still in his rant, and he was saying they were giving food off the floor. I saw them sweeping up food off the floor, and he said it was rotten, it was stinking. So, he witnessed this bad treatment of these people, and no one listened to him. He saw this, and they were ill, and possibly they died because of this negligence. And I'm getting that other people in this place were, they didn't die, they were well treated. As far as giving them food daily was concerned. And he complained, and people heard him ranting, but they didn't listen to what he was saying. So his angst was just not being heard. And there he wasn't going to move on to the spirit world until someone had listened to his story. You need to know what's going on. So I allowed him to, as I said, just let this rant come to an end, and made a nice quiet space in the house there to move him on to the spirit world, which he did peacefully. But just before he went, I caught sight of two girls who were sort of hovering in the background. And I thought, well, I haven't got time to sort of go into their story, and it didn't seem appropriate. The light to the spirit world was there. They would go if that was the right time for them, which they did. So, yeah, it was a very haunted area, and it wasn't the only house, obviously, that was built on that site. But you can't really, or I can't really go around knocking on people's doors and say, look, I've just seen a dead guy with a hat on walking in and out of your house. Do you want me to come and de-haunt your house? That doesn't feel quite right. But at least I managed to help this guy and make the house for Julie feel a bit more like her home. Thanks for listening.